Hey, it's Randy Martin from Trilogy Event Design. We're located in Hatboro, Pennsylvania, which is suburban Philadelphia, at 55 North York Road, Suite 200. If you come to visit us, we're in the physical building that's across the street from Wawa on the corner of York and Montgomery Avenue. Feel free to schedule with us at trilogyeventdesign.com. Just click the link that says schedule consultation and come stop by and see me. So I'm going to wait a little while I give people time to log on. But today we're going to be talking about wedding dresses because yesterday in this studio right here, we had a wedding dress pop-up shop. So there were dresses in sizes ranging from 6 to 12 for brides and from 6 to 30 for evening wear for bridesmaids, mothers of the brides, things like that. So it was a great selection. I did take pictures and post some on our page. So if you just take a scroll through later on and want to see some of the dresses that we had for sale here, you can. The dresses were being sold by Jean-Jacques from Eclectic Entertainment. So if you are interested in any of the dresses that were posted, perhaps they did not sell yesterday. There was only one in each style and in whatever size it was. So you can contact him at info@eclecticentertainment.com and just try to see if they're available, if there was something that you liked. Okay, so you know that I do these Facebook Lives on Sundays at 2 o'clock because I was keeping up with the trend from our bridal show season that ended in May. So every Sunday at 2 o'clock, I have been right here talking to you, all of the people that are engaged or a part of the wedding party or the mothers of the bride or groom, just to answer your questions. So this is an interactive session. Please post your comments below. Even if you think that I can see that you're here, I can't right away, so send me a little hey Randy or hi or wave or something so that I can see. So just post that in the comments below too. Just say hey Randy, I'm here, so that I can give you a shout out and I know who's here watching me, okay? So let's get started. This is going to be recorded, so even if you don't catch it from the beginning, you'll be able to see the recording in a few minutes after we end. So a few things that I wanted to talk about wedding dresses. Let's start with how you choose your style. So most people start with a Pinterest board or they tear pictures out of a magazine. As you're doing that, check out the common trends and the things that you like. Do they have sleeves? Are they strapless? Do they have a fancy neckline or do they have a fancy back? Are they very form-fitting or are they more A-line or full skirts on your desired look? This is important for you to know ahead of time before you go to the bridal salons. And the reason for this is that the bridal salons are going to try to pre-select some things and hang them up in the dressing room for you so that you can start trying them on. So they're going to pull things that you think that you like. I will tell you from my personal experience, what I thought I was going to like for my wedding dress ended up being totally different from what I actually got. My wedding was at the end of October, so I thought that I wanted something that had sheer sleeves just because it's the end of October and it could be cold. So I wanted some sheer sleeves with like some little lace detail. And when I got to the bridal salon and I told her that this is what I wanted, the consultant there was like, no, I don't think you do, but I'll let you try it on and then I'll show you something that I think that you'll like better. So I tried on dresses that had sleeves and honestly I felt like I was stuffing my arms like sausages. Like, you know how they're in the casing and you stuff the meat in? That's how I felt my arms felt. Like it was just too tight around my arms and it wasn't flattering and it didn't feel comfortable. I tried on some strapless dresses that she picked for me, and I loved how I looked in the strapless dresses. So even if you go with something in mind, be open to recommendations from the bridal consultants there in the salons because they actually do this for a living. This is what they know, and they can actually give you more of an opinion based on what you look like in the dress versus what somebody else looks like in a picture. Hi, Jenna. You're always here for me. Thank you. Um, Let me know if you have any questions about wedding dresses because that's what we're talking about today. So, some other things about when you go to the salons for your wedding dress shopping. First of all, you should be shopping for your dress first. So, before your bridesmaids' dresses are selected, before your mothers select their dresses, you should be shopping for your dress first. And then everybody else's dress style will have to be complementary to yours. So, just for example, there was a young lady that came into our wedding dress pop up shop yesterday, and she said that the colors that she had in mind were navy blue, yellow, and white. But when she tried on some dresses, she tried on a white one and she tried on two that were in champagne. And she really, really looked good in the champagne. The tone looked good against her skin tone. The fabric was flattering. It was a satin. She tried on two dresses that were satin, pleated, very fitted. So they all looked good. But I thought that the champagne looked better on against her skin tone than the bright did. So, we talked about how the champagne versus the navy blue could still work. But she had in her mind that she was going to wear a white dress with yellow shoes. The yellow shoes would not work with the champagne dress. Now, her wedding isn't until next year, so she has some time to make some adjustments in what she thinks that she might want to wear. But, these are some things that you don't realize until you actually get to try on your dress. So don't be married. Don't be married to the idea of a color scheme. Like, you really just want to make sure that you're wearing something that's flattering to you, and then everything else falls in line after that. It's okay to change your colors if you're a year out, because nobody else knows what those colors were supposed to be. You haven't purchased anything in those colors yet, so you can change your mind at some point. Um, Another thing to consider is how many people are you going to have there with you. So I think that it's important that you take somebody with you that you trust their opinion. So whether that's your maid of honor, your mother, whoever, you should have somebody with you that can give you an opinion about what your dress styles look like when you try them on. And they can honestly tell you what they like or don't like about the dresses. But don't take too many people, because too many people equals too many opinions, and you'll never get a unanimous decision on anything if there's too many opinions there. So maybe 3 maximum is a good idea, so you can have some range of opinions, including your own. And it will just help you if you take those same 3 people, if you go from salon to salon, you go shopping at different locations on different dates, take the same people with you so you're still not getting mixed opinions. Another thing that is kind of useful is not to make an impulse decision. So at yesterday's wedding pop-up shop, this was a one-time only sale. It's not something that we do every day. You're not going to be able to like a dress and then come back a week later and still get the same dress. However, at bridal salons, that is how you can shop. So you can go try on some dresses, go to different bridal shops, try on different dresses, and then go back to the one that you actually love. That dress will still be available because they're not selling you the dress off the rack. They're going to order a new dress for you, and then once it comes in, you'll go through the process of getting your alterations. So you should not feel like you're in a rush to purchase a dress. Don't make an impulse decision, because, just like if you were buying a house or a car, if you buy on impulse, you end up with buyer's remorse, or you'll see something later on down the line that you like even better, and you've already invested a lot of money into this dress. So take your time, try on a few different styles at different places, think about the price as it compares to your total wedding budget, and then make your decision. Fair enough? I think that is a good idea. I hope you do too. Also, be realistic about the timeline. So I talked about how when you go to the wedding dress shops and you see a dress that you like and you pay for it, you're not actually taking that dress home that day. They're going to order a brand new dress for you, which has to be made. And then when it comes in, you have to go through the process of getting alterations. So think about that timeline. And definitely ask questions. Like, the bridal salon should be asking you, when is your wedding date? And then they'll tell you, based on your wedding date, how much time you actually have available for ordering and alterations. The alterations come in several different steps. So first you'll have your first fitting where they will, make sure that it fits you in the bust area, the hips area, the waist, and the hem. And then they'll take the dress and they'll make those alterations, and then you try it on again and see if everything works. And maybe you're done at that point, and then they take care of your bustle, which also is another step that's going to take some time. Or you might have to go through a third fitting before your bustle. So, definitely make sure that everybody is aware of what this timeline is and that you're not going to be rushing through your alterations. Fabrics. So this is something that, again, you can't tell based on a picture of a model in a dress. You have to kind of see what they look like on you. So you may have decided that you want a satin dress or a taffeta dress, or something that is a smooth, shiny fabric, and that you don't like lace at all, or that you don't like beading at all. Perhaps that is going to actually be true when you try on the dresses, but try on some that might be in a fabric that you weren't sure that you like, just to see. I mean, it's probably the only time that you're ever going to be dressing up as a bride, so why not play around a little bit and try on some different styles? So check out some different fabrics like lace, like tulle, like chiffon, just to see how they look on you before you make your decision. Dresses do come in a lot of different weights, so you want to also make sure that the dress is not too heavy for your venue or the time of year that you're getting married. So for example, if you're getting married in an outdoor wedding in the summertime, you want something that is going to be kind of breezy and free-flowing, right? You don't want something that's going to be super thick, super heavy with a lot of layers of ruffles and crinoline and all that underneath, because, honey, you are going to be on fire. You're not in a good way. Like, your body is going to need a fan built into this dress because it's just going to be so hot. So think about that. Also think about the length of your dress. Are you going to be walking upstairs? So if you're going to be walking up steps, you don't need a dress that's too difficult to raise or to kind of lift your foot up to walk up the steps. Also, you don't need to have a super long train if you're going to be walking up a lot of stairs, because the train could get caught on the steps. If it's outside, then, concrete steps do tend to snag. So think about that as well. Make sure that your dress is appropriate to the venue. All right. So this is probably going to be the most important tip that I give you right now. It's about the size of dresses. Wedding dresses run small. So I'm telling you this now so that your feelings don't get hurt later. When you go wedding dress shopping, the dress that actually fits you is probably going to be 2 sizes bigger than what you normally wear. So, ladies, if you wear a size 8 and you have to buy a size 12 wedding dress, do not get your feelings hurt about it. It is the dress, it's not you. You're still an 8, I promise. But keep that in mind. So when you're picking styles, make sure that it's going to look good in a larger size versus the teeny tiny size that you think that you're supposed to get. And the reason for that is because there are a lot of different layers and fabric and all that kind of stuff that goes into the wedding dress. So, zippers, buttons, ruffles, all those types of things just make the dress size different than what it is when you put it on. It's easier to take in a dress that's too big than it is to take out. It's virtually impossible to take out a dress without them adding extra fabric or extra panels, and that's just going to make the dress look messy. So even if you are trying on a dress in a size 12, maybe you buy it in a 14 so that they have extra room to take it in. Or if there is some question about what your undergarments are going to be, whether you're going to be wearing a full line bra that has some little extra material. When you're trying on a dress, if it feels tight already without that under there, go a size up. And then when you have your alterations done, they can make the adjustments there. Also think about whether or not you can sit down in the dress, because at your reception, you're going to have to sit for dinner. Think about whether or not you can dance in the dress. Maybe you want to get a second dress. Instead of having your ceremony dress be the one that you wear throughout the night, you can change into a party dress that will help you to move around and have a good time during your reception. So think about those things as well. In the dress salons, in their dressing rooms, there's usually chairs or a stool, so you can absolutely practice sitting down and seeing if it's comfortable. Sometimes they have an elevated platform where you can step up and look in a mirror. Use that as your gauge of whether or not, if your venue has stairs, whether or not you can step up onto the platform easily in this dress. Like a lot of the mermaid dresses sometimes are too tight in the knee area, so it's hard for you to, walk and step up and things like that. So absolutely think about those things, okay? Just a reminder, this is an interactive question and answer session, so if you have questions, even if it's not related to a wedding dress, feel free to post them below so that we can answer your questions, or that I can answer your questions. We can have a dialogue about some things that may be important to you that you want an answer for today. So I had mentioned the undergarments. When you're going dress shopping for the first time, I recommend that you wear a well-fitted strapless bra, and also your underwear should cover everything. So that's not the time to wear the really sexy thongs. And the reason for this is because you don't know what the dressing room situation is. They may just have a curtain that closes, but it doesn't close all the way, so people can see through it or can see in the sides of it. You don't know if there is going to need to be a bridal consultant that's there helping you to get into the dress. When they help you to get into the dresses, most times they're putting it on the floor, they're opening it up so you can step into it. If you are stepping into the dress, that means that they have to help lift it up until it gets to where it needs to be, and they help you zip it up and all of that. The bridal consultant is a stranger. You don't necessarily want them to see the full moon, okay? And it's a little bit awkward if they're starting from your ankles and working their way up, that they have to be that close to the full moon. So it's going to be a little uncomfortable for you and a little uncomfortable for them if you don't wear the full coverage panties. You don't have to wear granny panties, but at least have on some briefs or something, okay? Just a little tip that you may not have thought of. Now, when you go back for your fittings, your second and third fittings, that's when you want to wear the long line bra or whatever the dress will call for you to actually be wearing underneath your wedding dress when you're getting married, so that the fittings will incorporate however much space needs to be made available for that. If you have a long line bra with boning in it so that it really holds everything together because your dress doesn't have that structure, then you need to make sure that that's being considered so that you can't see it through the fabric. Some dresses are made with built-in bra, built-in boning, so you don't have to wear anything under it. That's important for you to know before you go to your fittings. So keep those things in mind regarding the undergarments that you're wearing when you're going dress shopping. Another thing to consider is your shoes. So you don't have to wear the actual shoes that you're going to wear on your wedding day, but you need to be thinking ahead about how high your heels are going to be. So if you're going to be wearing flats or a 4-inch heel or whatever heel height, that's what you need to wear to your fittings when they have to start measuring the hemline. If you go and you're wearing flats when they're doing your hem, but you decide later that you're going to wear high heels, when you put on those high heels, your dress is going to be too short. So this is the reason to wear the heel height that you'll be wearing on the day of your wedding, not necessarily the shoes, but that height, so that that will be appropriate and you won't end up having a dress that's too short. One other thing is the bustle. So if you have a dress that has a train, you want to have an idea of what the dress is going to look like when it's bustled. So at the time that you're trying on the dresses, even if it's the first time, have somebody hold it up at about the height where the bustle is going to be, so that everything around the dress, front and back, is at the same hem length, and that way you can kind of see how much of it needs to be bustled. If you have a really long train, you'll end up with a big bustle. If you don't have a big train or the dress doesn't have a lot of fabric, it will just be like a little draped bustle. Also, when you are going for the fittings where the bustle is actually being created, make sure that you take 2 people with you who are going to be there on your wedding day so that they can see how the bustle needs to be done for you on that day. The bridal consultant at the dress salon is not going to be there on your wedding day. Your wedding planner may not be the one who's doing your bustle. So your maid of honor, your mother, or 2 of your bridesmaids, or somebody who's going to be there on the wedding day needs to be there to see how the bustle is done so that they can replicate that on the day of your wedding. Some bustles are super complicated and you have to match ribbons to tie so that the bustle falls correctly, or you have to do hook and eye all the way around on the underside of the dress and then let it come down. Others are super simple where they put a button on the outside and you just lift it up and attach the button. So again, take somebody with you so that they can see how that's done and replicate it on the day of your wedding. Most of the time, this happens sometime after you've taken pictures during the cocktail hour before your introduction. So before your reception starts, that's when you go off somewhere and have the bustle done. That should be something that is planned for just in case it takes a little bit of time. You want to make sure that you have that amount of time allotted so that you're not rushing and you don't feel like you're missing something important because that's happening. That is all the wedding dress tips that I have for today. Again, I am available for private consultations. If you didn't have a question that you wanted to post today and have everybody else see what your question is or have me answer it live, you can meet with me for a private consultation to have your questions answered. My initial meeting is complimentary. It is 30 minutes. It can be done over the phone, video chat, or in person at my office in Hatboro. Just go to trilogyeventdesign.com and click on the link that says schedule a consultation. Other than that, we also do wedding coaching, and starting right after Labor Day, the first Sunday after Labor Day, we'll be back to the bridal show season where I'll be on stage live at several bridal shows across the Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and Delaware area where you can come and see me and ask your questions right there in front of the audience. I hope that you have gained a lot of information today about wedding dresses, some things that you hadn't thought of, and if you have already bought your dress, maybe this is something that you can pass on to others. Take care. Have a good day. Bye-bye.